He might not be from Krypton, but he's heads above the rest. His knowledge can't be questioned. You can put it to the test. So if you want to hear the truth and have nowhere else to go, I'll give you the solution. Just tune into his show and just kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod.
And welcome back, everybody, to the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying gamer in all of YouTube gaming entertainment. So weird using that tag. Today, I'm playing yet more hours of Marvel Snap. As promised, I'm playing my way up the ladder. You guys get to join me in the ranks. Margot, hello, Margot. How are you? And today, I am tailoring a special little stream. Today, I am going to show you guys how when you download this game, you could be playing alongside yours truly, or just what to do to interact. What's up, Christine? Hello, everybody. Hello. So glad. This is going to be another stream I'm doing for the Prophets of Geek Culture. This is all. Sorry, my mic sucks. So today I'm going to show you guys how to build a deck you could use and follow me. The interesting part about this is that with this game, you will be able to get pretty far in the beginning ranks. But I want to show you guys what kind of deck to use if you so chose to download this game, maybe join a villain, and what the best deck is starting off. Then I'm going to kind of explain how the card pool works, so you know when you get what. And then from there, kind of go into playing a deck that I built, because I built a basic deck last night, and I play tested this for hours. I was up till like 5 in the morning. I play tested these decks so that I can tell you guys about them here on stream, make sure they work. I went through like 10 or 15 games, and I won like about 8 out of 10 for the first deck. And then the second one was about 5-5 split. That's my advanced deck. We'll get to that. But these are fun little things. I cleared out all the ones that I have because I'm just going to build some from scratch to do like building guides. I'm really going to get a lot into deck construction because I like it. What makes building a deck here easier is that there's less cards for me to keep track of than other card games that I play. So also, I figured out there was no sound on my game before. So I'm going to put my sound on for the game so that you guys can hear the cool sound effects as I'm playing, because the cards have awesome sound effects. I'm also running this at like 60 frames per second. None of that technical jazz really matters. So here we go. Got my cool kind of my settings that I'm going through here. I like doing 60 FPSs, which is surprising because the new Gotham game came out and they couldn't run that. And this is a PS4. They couldn't run that on the PS5 at 60 frames per second. But this game does. This is a card game. That is so fucking hilarious. I wish I had Husky because he'd understand the joke there. So, hey, Lemon Pie, my favorite pie. What's up? What's up, everyone? So glad. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing some deck building. I'm gonna show you guys how you can play with me. You can download this on a tablet, on your phone, or on your computer, which I really like. This really doesn't feel like a mobile game. It does have that mobile look because I am shrinking the screen. I can't play this in full screen and see the chat, so that's why I kind of shrunk this to a mini screen. But I got my cool Marvel background so you guys can have something to look at. Hopefully this is coming through on here. Cool Marvel background, so you guys can have something to look at. Hopefully this is coming through on here. Cool Marvel background, so you guys can have something to. Yeah, I think I think you guys can hear this sound, so I'm not sure. But anyways, you guys get to hear my lovely voice as I go through all of my building tips and things like that. Hopefully people find this intriguing. I'm going to be playing less time because I actually have to work. This is why I have this cap on. I don't have my chef's coat on, but that's just because it's in the car. So let's go to some games, get some games going. But first I'm going to explain cards that I used. This is for all of the beginners. So if you choose to play this game, you start right away. You're like, bam, I liked it. This Zod guy's intriguing. I like this cool looking game and all of the awesome animations. So Zod, where do I start with my basic deck? Well, I'm essentially in this pool. This is your starter deck. At least this is what I started off with. I haven't been this low level in some time. So if there's some cards here that you don't get, don't worry, you will eventually get them. The game is divided into 3 pools. The beginning where you start is called Pool 1. The 2 decks I'm going to show you are, one is this deck, which you should essentially have all these cards in the beginning. Angela and Bishop might have to draw into, but you will definitely have Kazaa and Blue Marvel. So this deck is a deck design that as soon as you boot up the game, load it, these are going to be the cards you start off with. I believe for me, at least, Angela and Bishop, I unlocked right away. I want to keep in mind that everything is random. You will unlock all of these before you reach the second pool of cards, but the order you unlock is completely random. So you could get a really good card or you could get like a shit card. But by the time you reach where I'm at, you'll have enough good cards to, even if you don't have like the best, you'll have enough to be competitive. So this is my beginning deck. And this is really a deck that I played and surprisingly was winning. Scottish flag, okay? So this was a deck I was playing, and I was actually winning quite a bit. However, a lot of these cards won't be used later on where I'm at. I just did it as a funny joke, and against the computer and even some human players, because these cards haven't been seen in a while, I was actually winning. So hello, lovely Sherry. I am showing you guys Marvel Snap today. This is a deck breakdown. I'm going to show you guys if you want to join me. These are the cards you're going to start out with, I believe. Angela and Bishop, I'm not sure of. I know at least you have Angela. I think Bishop you might have to get. I don't know. You could just replace those 2 with any cards that you have. The main ones are Kazar and Blue Marvel. So now this is a very standard basic deck, but what you're doing is you are, oh, okay. Well, thank you for just popping in, Christine. If you have time later, come on by. I will be streaming for, I don't know, like maybe an hour or 2, probably 2 hours, because I do have work. So with this deck, this is very basic, but I'm going to kind of give you a rundown of why I chose these ones for you to use in the beginning, because in the beginning of the game, you're not going to be matched up against advanced players. No one will know what the hell they're doing. So this is an opportunity for you to get the jump on all of the people that you're going to face, or even if you go up against the computer, their cards are going to be tailored to where you're at. So you're not going to get, and you're not going to be playing me if you don't have, or if you haven't broke the barrier. And what I mean is the cards are broken up by the power levels. When I upgraded, all the way up to like 200 or 300 is where the low players sit. And that is all of these kinds of cards. Pool 2 is 3 to like 800. And then Pool 3, where I'm at, and I haven't even unlocked everything, is like in the thousands. I think I'm 1,600, 700, somewhere in there. I'm close to unlocking everything. There's like 1 or 2 cards I don't have. So, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So here's a good starter deck. This deck will get you going. The surprising thing was I was playing this and actually winning. Where I'm at right now, this is kind of suicide, but I do want to show you how this deck works and why it works so well against newer type players. So first off, you have Ant-Man. Ant-Man is actually a very good card. You will use Ant-Man like even in advanced decks. 90% of decks still run Ant-Man. And why they run Ant-Man is he's a 1 mana, 1 power card, meaning you can play him on the first turn. Wouldn't recommend it when you get higher up. You want to kind of hold him, but you can drop him as an early player right away because people are still learning the game. And what Ant-Man does is if you have 3 other cards, he becomes 4. So he gets +3 power, but ups it for 4 other cards. So and I'm going to show you in gameplay, but what you want to do and the strategy I'm going with is called a Kazaa deck. This is the best beginners type deck because the cards are the easiest to get and the strategy is easy enough for everyone to be able to pull off. So the idea of this deck is to flood your board with cards. You want to have so many low cards that get buffed by Kazaa at the end of the game. So the whole idea is to drop as many cards as humanly possible, buff them all up, and overwhelm your opponent with power. This is a very good go-to deck for a beginner. It was actually by accident one of the first decks I started with because I just put together how well these all worked. And surprisingly, when you get into higher ranks, people have modified this deck, like at my level, to make it work in high play. It's not as common because there's so many counters for these cards. But I've seen some people fix up some things, tool some things up to kind of make it work in where we're playing now. And maybe I might do an advanced version of this deck, but for right now, for basic players, this is going to work like gangbusters. This is a really fun deck to use. And it even worked in high play when I was playing. I actually beat real people because just where I'm at right now, they haven't seen this deck used in like months. You guys have to remember, I was playing this during the beta. So I've been playing this roughly 6 months before it even released. So knowing the cards, I've moved on. But people who are like me haven't seen one of these decks in quite some time. So that's funny stuff with Ant-Man. Now, Elektra. Elektra is good to use right now if you're first starting the game. This doesn't seem like a lot, but her ability is on reveal. So when she flips over, she will destroy a random 1 card at this location. What a lot of people use this for is Sunspot and things like that, at least where I'm at. For you, this will destroy your opponent's Ant-Man, other 1-cost cards that might be a little bit stronger. You play Elektra kind of like a response to something. So someone throws down their Ant-Man early, you play Elektra, blow it up, and you have a 1-cost card of your own on the board. It's a very defense card. And once we get higher, I'll show you like counter decks. I still run this to this day, but to be honest with you, at your guys' rank you start off at, it's a good card. At my rank, not so much. There's 20 other cards that do what she does better. But for right now, as a beginner, she's the easiest cards to get. She's one of the first cards you get. I suggest putting her in your deck. She's a great counter to all the cards running around, but be very specific, right? Don't target a random 1-cost card. Go for an Ant-Man. Go for something that they drop that's big. and she will give you a lot of benefit. Even if you get to pool 2, you can still run her because that's when Sunspot becomes a thing. Sunspot is going to be a card that everybody uses. It's one I use in several of my decks. And this could really disrupt them because Sunspot gains power off of power you don't use. So if someone skips and they have 2 energy left, Sunspot becomes a 3 power card. Well, you drop an Electra, blow it up, because 9 out of 10 times the Sunspot will be the only 1-cost card they have, and you've destroyed all that power. So she's still usable. There's just better options. For right now, put her in a deck. And hopefully I don't sound like a school teacher. I was talking to Bitchy. It's hilarious. I can picture her being like, sound like Dr. Cole or something like that. Now, Hawkman. Hawkman, I like. Where I'm at now, he's not practical, but I've got a fun art design. So here he is. What he does is you play him. The next turn, when you play a card, he gets 2 power, which means he becomes a 3. So basically, what I like to combo with is I throw down a Hawkman, I play Electra or an Ant-Man. He'll become 3 power. Boom, I control that spot. It's a nice little thing. Now, I threw Iceman in here. I'm not sure if he's in this pool or not. It's been a long time since I've been a lower rank. If you get him in pool 1, I would use him. If you don't get him, then I would go with, like, Korg isn't in pool 1. I would go with, like, a Watu or a Squirrel Girl. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna swap them out quick because I don't even know. Let's go Squirrel Girl because I got a lot of cool art for her. It fits my theme, so we're gonna replace him. Iceman might be later, so Squirrel Girl adds these squirrels on the board. This is fucking annoying. A huge part of a Kazaa deck. These are all 1-cost cards. Kazaa boost 1-cost cards. +1. So what this deck is designed to do is to take all these 1-power cards and boost them up. Now, the other 2 I just threw in here because they are 1-2, which means they have 1 cost, 2 power. Rocket. I love Rocket. I'm a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I built an advanced deck using just the Guardians. It's a fun deck, but it's not good for climbing. And Rocket is not really good once you get to where I'm at. But I would argue in lower play, you could still use him. And what he is on reveal, your opponent's played a card this turn at that spot. He gets 2 power, which means he goes from a 1-2 to a 1-4. I think this is amazing. Essentially, if you can guess where your opponent's going to go, or if you just throw him down and your opponent goes there to counter him, he becomes a 4-cost card. Yes, it's random. In my Guardians deck, because I have higher cards, it's easier to manipulate where my opponent can go. But I really just like him. I like his animation too when you throw him out on the board. He yells stuff and, just a cool card. Yondu. Yondu's really fun. Once again, going a lot with Guardians. He's a 1-2, and he removes the top card of your opponent's deck. In lower games, he's fine to use. He will get rid of a card. He's also good as a counter to American Chavez. But right now, currently where I'm at, he's not usable. Angela. This is a great card. This is a card that will be used all the way through your playthrough experience. So what Angela does is when you play a card here, she gets +2. This is an MVP card. I put this in the first deck. I don't know if everyone will get it. As soon as you unlock her, you will be putting her in everything if you don't have her now. She's really easy to pull. She's in the starting pool. She's an amazing card. You will use her in every deck, even when you're in an advanced level. She's an MVP. What she does is anytime you put a card where she's at, she gains 2 power. I combined her in the beginning with Bishop. Bishop gains 1 power every time you play a card. So you put these two together, and they're pretty much how you end the game with this deck. Then I put Kazaa in and Blue Marvel. Kazaa is going to give all of your one play characters +1, and Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel is being played a lot in my rank. What Blue Marvel does is when you play him, your power of all your cards become +1. But the other great part about it is he's a 5/3. When we first started playing, I believe he was like a 6/5. He had terrible stats and wasn't worth playing. But now that they lowered when you can play him, a lot of advanced decks are using him. So I don't know if he is a card you pull right away, but if you do throw him into this deck, he is great because what you're doing is you're going to add +1 power from Kazaa to all of these cards, and then you're going to give +1 power to everything. That includes your Angela, your Bishop, and your Kazaa. So typically how my turns are going to go, and I'll show you this in play, is for turns 1 and 2, I'm playing my 1-cost cards, or my Angela on turn 2 if I have it. Turn 3, my Bishop. Turn 4, my Kazaa. Turn 5, Blue Marvel. Turn 6, I'm playing all lower cards that I have left. And that's pretty much it. And I'm giving everything the max amount of power. So I'm going to show you how this works in practice. It's kind of funny because I'm playing this right now at my rank. And I was actually winning some games, so it really depends on. I used Quicksilver as well. Forgot he was in here just because he comes into your hand on turn 1. You can use him like now, but when you get into higher rank, you probably want to switch him out. So I'm going to play Yondu. And a snap right away because I have my pieces. So what I'm really looking for here is Kazaa, Bishop, and Angela. These are the 3 ones you want to use right away. These are going to be what I use to finish off games. So he played the same thing. So now Angela gets +3 because I played at Monster Metropolis, which gives the highest card +3. We tied for 3 because both of our power is the same. So now I'm going to play Bishop. I like doing the Angela Bishop combo. Hey, Jay, what's up?
Hey, sorry you can hear a bunch of background sound. I'm driving, so I can't see too long, but I wanted to show support. Hey!
Hey, what's up? I'm tutorialing people on
Oh.
Marvel Snap.
Interesting. That's a new thing for you.
Yeah, they're always getting on me to do stuff on the channel, and I like playing card games. So right now, I was showing everybody how to play a basic deck that's fun to build. So yeah, it's fun times over here. You're heading to work?
Nope, I just dropped my oldest off, and now I'm just heading back to my house, so I figured I'd pop in while I had a second.
Before the craziness?
Oh, yes.
So, hold on. I'm doing, I guess, what Bitchy calls the, I guess I kind of sound like a teacher kind of a thing. So really quick, I wanted to just go over this play. What I did was when I said I was using Elektra, okay, Elektra destroys a 1-cost card. I said it's best used against an Ant-Man. My opponent now, and this is higher level because I'm a higher level in the game. This guide is for beginners. I just destroyed my opponent's Ant-Man. He made a rookie mistake at our level, and he just fled. So, folks, this deck does work. I'm using a beginner deck, Jay, and I'm showing people how they can advance quickly when first entering this game. And I was letting everybody know I'm actually a high player. My collection level is at 3,000, which means I've gotten most of the cards in the
Wow.
game. Yeah.
That's a big number.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, the collection levels, I believe, go to like 5,000 or 6,000, but you get all of the cards at like 4,000. I don't know. It's been a long fucking time. I've played this game since beta. So Lemon Pie says, "Hey, Jackie."
Hey, how are you? Sorry, I can't see anybody. Like I said, I'm driving. But hi, everyone. I love you guys. I hope everyone's doing well.
So yeah, I'm taking everybody through the journey. And I was just saying, if they want to play along as I'm playing, today I'm doing beginner decks. I'm showing everybody decks they could use to have fun, but also not get your ass kicked and even have an edge over other newer players. This is shit I wish I knew. But when beta started, we were all new, so we had no clue. And a lot of the cards were reworked. Like in the Wild West days, some cards were too fucking powerful to be in launch. Oh yeah, Jack, it was ridiculous. We had some like literal cards where you could not win a game unless the card was in your deck in some way. Like you could play
Oh my
anything
gosh.
you wanted, but you needed these specific cards.
That sounds stressful. I've never heard of this game before.
And this is why I'm doing this stream. Marvel Snap is accessible to everyone. You could download it today. It launched globally. I want to say like a week ago. I've been playing it since like 6 months ago. It was out in China. I'm not going to say I use like a VPN or something to get in the beta, but
Just gonna put that out there without putting it out there. It's fine. No big deal.
And I couldn't access the shop because I technically wasn't in that country, so I was still at a disadvantage, but I also got most of the cards. So I'm explaining decks that even, if you wanted to jump in here and give it a try, this would be a deck you could use right when you jump in to start getting those wins, to get better cards. So that's the pool 1 deck. Like I said, this deck is very good to use. Oh, hey.
It's okay, bud. It's okay.
Oh, so this is the pool 1 deck. This is a deck you can build right away, and I would suggest building this. Now, keep in mind, I haven't been in pool 1 in ages, so I don't know exactly if you will get Bishop and an Angela right away, or if you get Kazaa right away. I got him after the tutorial. I don't know what they give you free. I probably should do a reset, but I got so much shit I'm not going to do an alt account because it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, I can't remember the free shit that you get from starting the game, but I want to say Kazaa is one of them. So Ant-Man, Elektra, Hawkeye, Squirrel Girl, Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, Rocket Raccoon, Yondu, Angela, Bishop, Kazaa, and Blue Marvel. Those would be the ideal starting deck. These are ones you can use from, I believe, 1 to 200. They might have changed the cap because they moved cards around. But I want to say 258, 300 is when you start getting into the end of this pool. So let me show you guys what you'll have access to before you get to pool 2. And that's the next in your climbing in Marvel Snap. So where you see me at right now, I'm in the 3,000s. Every time you get up a certain rank, right, you get up a certain amount, your cards change depending on what this score is right here. So mine is 3,086, which means I damn near got all the cards. There's still some cards that elude me, but for the most part, I have almost all the cards. There's a couple in there I haven't gotten. So this is the number you want to look out for. Once this number is at 286 or 386, somewhere in there, you have completed all of the cards in the first pool. There's about 76 of them, I want to say, in the first pool alone. Actually, I want to pull that up just to be sure, but I want to say it's 76 in the first pool of cards that you're going to run into. So let me just make sure that I'm right on that, because I don't want to give out any information from that might not be right. No, okay. 12 cards. The next pool is higher. 12 cards, and then pool 2 is like 25, and then pool 3 is like where one I'm at is like 46. There's a lot of cards. I think it adds up to like 100 and something, 200 something. I don't know. But anyways, the first pool you get through relatively quick because it is the first pool makes up, let me see, not Henryville. Pool 1. Take 5, pool 1. Let me see. I'm trying to get a definite, like,
This
how
makes
many.
me want to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
It is kind of similar, except for not, because it's Marvel characters and the animation moves. I don't know if that's a great defense. It is, yes, in theory, but but not. So I'm gonna go to Marvel Snap Zone. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a great tool guide built by nerds such as myself. You could use to find out all information on Marvel Snap if you so desire. I play it like seriously, so I would use it. But you know, if you're just casually playing, you could just watch my awesome face. And you might get crazy guest appearances, like from Jackie. Thank you so much. Like,
Of course.
I know this isn't like something you normally talk about, but you know, if you play the game, then you can jump on here and be like, Saj, you were right. This game is awesome.
I don't think you need me to strip your egos on. I think you do that just fine on your own.
What? What?
Oh, you hear my son back here? Say it again. He goes, what? Because he heard you say it.
Good for you. Okay, so here's the breakdown, and I want to show you guys this so that you have an idea of how long it's going to take it. So, do some more screen share magic here. Why is that not on there? What? Oh, okay. So here is a tier list for you guys. I'm bringing up a tier list, and I'm using a community tier list from Marvel Snap Zone. Thank you, Marvel Snap Zone. They got a channel. Go check them out. They give you like a meta game, or as much of a meta game as can be in this, because unlike most card games, it's totally fucking random what the big decks are going to be, because the deck game changes. So I'm just going to read this out loud. Pool 1, your collection level starts from 18 to 214, 46 cards. You can have all 46 cards fairly quickly. Where it gets trickier is Pool 2. Pool 2 is level 222 to 474. 25 cards are in this pool alone. Now, this is where me and everybody else is. 486 and beyond. So far, 74 cards. I want to say that's up to date with the Miles Morales. So 74 cards. Once you get to the upper thousands, you're pretty much close to getting every single card in the game. So where I'm at, I've almost got just about every card. I have all of the best cards. So yeah, these two decks I'm showing you today only deal at level 18 to 214. I might do pool 2 tomorrow and then 3 the next day, and then kind of just show you stuff that I build you won't have yet, but once you start unlocking the cards, you can start using yourself. So that's my general gist of these guides and kind of where I'm going with it. So here, let me go back to the game, and I will show you now what you can use at levels 214. This is after you have gotten every single one card. This is a deck designed so that you can start being competitive in your tier 1. And this deck might even be playable into pool 2. So this is my own variation, my own kind of build. And this is the last pool 1 deck. So this is combining all of the cards available to you at that pool. This is a deck you can build after you get every single one unlocked. Now, this was challenging for me to play or to build that I could use in my ranks because my ranks are more advanced. But then I readjust everything. And it was tough because I'm only using from the list of pool 1, which really limits how I play as an advanced player. But I found it fun too, going back to the beginning and putting together something for you guys that's advanced, but not advanced for me. And I think I came up with a pretty decent deck for everybody to use that will start advancing you. And you can even take this deck into pool 2. But this is specifically built for pool 1, maybe up until you start to get to the end of pool 2 and you get better cards. Then I would swap tons of these cards out. But this is like the 218 level. You've gotten every card in pool 1. And you're like, okay, now what can I build with all of these cards now that I have all 46 unlocked? Hey, Christine, what's up? So this is the advanced pool 1 deck. As you can see, I'm not going to go over every single card because some of these cards are returning cards because they're so good you can use them in any deck. So once again, we have Ant-Man. I'm a big fan of Ant-Man, and it's not just because I like the movies, but yeah. Ant-Man is even used to this day in my decks. He is just so good. And the best part about him is there's a lot of decks running around, especially where I'm at, which will destroy 1-cost cards. Killmonger is a never-ending pain in the ass. So this is good because you could play this very close to the end of the game and not worry about him getting destroyed, and he adds extra power. Ant-Man is one of those cards that you can just slot into any deck. If you have a love for him like I do, he really will fit in every single deck you'll ever play in this game. So, Ant-Man, always usable. Once you collect all of the cards in this pool, definitely throw him in. Now, Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is an interesting card because Nightcrawler fits even into decks that we play in advance. And why he does is because Nightcrawler can move once, which means you play him and he's kind of floating about and he can move to any spot on the board. What this means is there are certain spots on the board where you can't move cards. Nightcrawler's ability supersedes that. He can move to a Sanctum Sanctorum, which is basically you can't play a card there. He can move to Death's Domain, which kills your cards that you play, but it doesn't kill him if he's already on the board. So Nightcrawler still, to me, has a lot of uses in your Pool 1 adventures. Plus, he's a 1-2, which is at 1-cost cards is not a bad stat. especially for what I'm using him for. He also works in this combination that I have in the deck, and I'm going to show you the combo in a second. So yeah, this is part of the advanced deck for everyone just joining. This is, keep in mind, this is when you have unlocked all of the first pool of cards. So Ant-Man, Nightcrawler, Yondu. I just love Yondu. Look, he destroys the top card. I just find it like if there happens to be a strong top card, he will destroy it. Also, too, American Chavez is now in your pool, and this card always is drawn on turn 6. Yondu will always hit this card because American Chavez will always be at the top of everybody's deck. Towards the end of your pool 1 going into pool 2, put Yondu in there, if for nothing else than to get rid of American Chavez, because he's going to automatically target her and they lose a guaranteed card. I don't know. I like it. I've come across and destroyed many Chavezes, even at the level I'm at. So it's just a fun card. Angela. Angela will always be, and I've said this before, I'm not sure if she's an early pull, but if you happen to get her, she goes in every single deck. It's not a lie. It's not an exaggeration. I'm not trying to be funny. Literally, she is in every fucking deck in the game. This card is ridiculously good. It is a 2-powered card that gets +2 power for every time a card is played on the board. Now, how you work this with Nightcrawler is you play her first. You play Nightcrawler. Yondu, stop taking up the spotlight. God, he's such a... Okay. You play her first. You play Nightcrawler, right? His ability is you can move him. So after you've boosted her, you move him out of that spot, play another card. This is such a basic, but such a great combo to pull off because your Angela gets super huge by the end of the game. I really hope they don't nerf the card, but I have a feeling they're going to have to put something on her because that is ridiculous. And she's literally in every deck. There's very few decks that don't run Angela. She's just too good not to put into your deck. Armor. I put in Armor because now you should get used to this card. Armor in the low games will be your best friend. What Armor does is cards at this location can't be destroyed. So why is he important to you? If you are running a lot of 1-cost cards, such as Ant-Man, or anything like that, Armor is the only other thing besides Professor X that will stop Killmonger from destroying it, or Elektra, or anything else that's a destroy card. Also, he can be played in spots that destroy your cards. So you play him at Death's Domain. Now you can play any card at that location again, because while he is in effect, nothing at that location can be destroyed. This is also great for stopping people as a counter from destroying their cards, and we'll get to those decks in a second. But Armor is a great card, and he's 2/3. It's a pretty heavy body, pun intended. He's a pretty heavy body and a solid stat to have on the board. Bishop, once again, Bishop, Angela, best friends, besties. Bishop used to be in decks a lot. He's not anymore because he got powered down. He only now gains +1 power. He's a 3/1. I still say put him in there. If you combined him with Angela, 9 out of 10 times you're going to win that spot. So I don't really care about the nerf. I still use him a lot. I think he's a great card, especially for low-end players. You will use him a lot until you get to where I'm at. So put him in your decks. Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane is a fun card. She's used still, but in certain decks when you get to where I'm at. But for low play, Wolfsbane is an amazing card. So what Wolfsbane does is you play her on turn 3, but she gets 2 power for each other card you have in that zone. So what that means is you do not play Wolfsbane until you have 3 different cards. And I'll show you cool combinations with this deck you can do and with Wolfsbane, but she is so fun because if you have 4 cards, that's 2 times 4, 8. she gets 8 power plus 1, 9. So a 3-1 becomes a 3-9. That is ridiculous, and it's so fun to use. Unfortunately, this card can't be used when you get further up, but for low play, she's good. Jessica Jones. I love Jessica Jones. I also love the Defenders. Jessica Jones' ability is she was dropped down from a 5 cost. I think she was like 5-6 or something. She used to be a little bit higher and not used, but now she's 4, and she gets +4 this turn if you do not play a card next to her for 1 turn. So that means you can play her, wait a turn, like do other shit on turn 5, and then she will become a 4-8. It's pretty good because by turn 5 or 6, you're looking to secure the spots and finish out your play. I love Jessica Jones. She's still used in higher decks. She's just so good. A 4-8 is a really good power. She now can be used easier because now that you can play her on turn 4, you can like play her turn 5, play Blue Marvel, up everything by 1 power, and now she's a 4-9. There's so many different things you can do with her now that makes her a lot more easier, especially on the last turn. So Jessica Jones is one that I used in this deck. Now, I love this card. Most people are not going to use this card after Pool 1. But for me, this is one of my favorite Pool 1s. I have kind of a sentimental thing because I won a lot of games with Namor. But Namor, the only special thing about him is when you don't have a card by him, he gets +5, which means he's a 4-10. The really cool thing is when you draw the Atlantis location, it gives a card there another 5. So he can be a 15 card if you have the Atlantis location. I don't know. I got a soft spot for him. I would say he's fun to use and usable until you get about midway into Pool 2. Then swap him out. Iron Man. Say hello to your best friend. Iron Man is an S+ card. He will be used in any fucking deck like Angela. Iron Man is used by everyone. Why Iron Man is so ridiculous and used by everyone is not only is there cool combos of switching his power to make him a 0-5, but also he doubles your total power. So if you have 5 at a location and you're not winning, you drop Iron Man, you now have 10. He's just a great card. And I'm sure PB, if you watch this, he'll be happy to hear this. Iron Man is a card used in every single person's deck. You will not find a deck that is not running an Iron Man. So Iron Man, get used to him. He's going to be in your buddy. Any deck you ever build should include him. Any deck you build will have him. He is your best friend. Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel became a lot more usable. I say use him at the end of your first set of cards after you've gotten your first set because Blue Marvel will carry you far. This card used to be garbage. It was like a 6-5 or something, and it only gave you your cards 1 power. Now that it's a 5-3, you can use your last turn again. And that means you're giving everybody +1 power, and you're using different things to buff them up. So Blue Marvel is just great. And honestly, he is now, again, used by advanced players. So I would say Blue Marvel, you should always try to work around him. And you'll see what I mean when I start using him. Last but not least, this might be a hot take, but I'm using Blue Marvel, so it makes sense to run this card. American Chavez. American Chavez used to be a 6-10, and one of her key abilities is she's always in your hand on turn 6. This is great because I use this in reverse. If somebody has a Yondu, 9 out of 10 times, they're going to hit her, which means you won't lose important cards. On the flip side of that, you will always have her on your last turn. So ideally, what I want is I play Blue Marvel, buff everybody's power by 1. Chavez. last turn, 10, bam, drop her down. I can even drop her by Blue Marvel. So now you have 3 and 10, 13 power. At your guys' level, it is enough to secure a lot of games. So I'm going to show you the different combos. Keep in mind, this deck, this advanced deck, is going to be the last deck that you can use when you have all of the cards. So this deck is designed for when you have every single card in your first beginner's pool unlocked. And then I'll show you the next pools maybe tomorrow, but this was just for beginners. So this is when you've unlocked all 46 of those basic cards, right? Let me just make sure, 46. Yeah, so when you've unlocked the first 46 cards, this is the best out of the first 46. And this is one I'm going to show you how to win because this deck was killing it at my level. And I haven't played some of these cards in months because I just do different things. I'm a lot with control and stuff. So, okay, starting off, we have Titan. Titan is good because when I get American Chavez at the end, instead of being 6, she's going to be 5. So I am going to, this is a tutorial, but I don't really need a reason to have my Nightcrawler out. So I'm going to snap because I've got a pretty decent hand. And I'm just going to kind of gauge my opponent, see what my next location is. Now, a lot of rookies will make a mistake. They will start playing their cards right away, even their low-cost cards. Wait a turn or two. I like to have 2 locations open so I can see where the game is going. Now, this is a great one, Mirror Island. Each turn, a card gets +1 here. So I'm going to play my Angela right here. And remember I was telling you about that Nightcrawler combo, right? So this card gets to move. I'm going to play Nightcrawler with Angela next. Boost her up and then move him out of that spot so I can keep on playing cards. So here we go. Shocker. What? Somebody's using a Shocker? Wow. They must be running Patriot because that's, or maybe Carnage. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm in a higher play. I've never seen anybody use Shocker before. Okay, so I'm going to use Nightcrawler right here. And then, I don't know. I might put Nightcrawler over here later. And I'm going to use armor to protect stuff in this area. So as you can see, Scarlet Witch is a good card. I'm going to explain when you get to pool 2, you'll get her. She'll be one of the first cards you put in a deck. She replaces spots with a new spot. So as you can see, look, I bumped her up to 4. I'm going to jump out of this space. And then for Grand Central, I'll play Namor for right now. No. You know what? No. I'm going to do... You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do Namor over here. Now, typically, you want to play Namor by himself. He's going to become a 4/10. But Grand Central Station is going to mess up my plan because it's automatically going to pull a card out after turn 5 and place it here. So I'm going to play my Namor by my Angela because it's a nice 5 power and it gives her +2. My opponent's probably confused because this is a very beginner type deck. All right, so this is actually perfect because now Grand Central Station is not going to pull out anything. But what I'm going to do is he's used all up the space. So I'm just going to double my power here because he doesn't know I'm playing Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel's going to give everything +1 power. So I'm going to double the power at Grand Central and then Blue Marvel everything. And these rocks that are at 0 are going to become 1. This is why this deck is still competitive. It's funny. This is literally the end of the beginner's ladder, and I'm playing advanced people. This is a Patriots deck. I could very easily lose. So, this is so interesting. This is actually working out for me. Okay. So now I think I got a couple options here. I could do Wolfsbane here and upgrade the thing. I could go here, 6, 7, 8, and give everything 1. Yeah, I could do here and probably win it. He can't contest me here. I could just go to Titan for 9 right here. Because this will become a 3-2. Maybe I can scare him with the Bischoff. So what I'm going to do, and this is just a matter of preference, I'm going to do Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane is going to get +2 for everyone. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 + 5. I'm going to play a Bishop here too. This is a distraction. I'm hoping he plays stuff here thinking this is a big card, and then I win this spot. Did not fall for So let's see what he plays. Ooh, Ultron. Oh, he's running the Ultron Patriot. Oh, shit, we tied. I don't think I win though. I did. Holy shit. Yeah, because I had 26 on this spot. So yeah, there you go. This is just a basic deck. A basic advanced basic deck. This is the end of your run when you have only 46 cards. I'm not using anything else at a high level play. That deck that he played should have beaten me. If you play smart, even with this deck will carry you a lot. You can tool this up anyway based on cards you may or may not have. It's up to you. But yeah, that's only 46 cards. Now, granted, this is the best 46 cards that, after you unlock everything. But once you do, you have access to those cards. I would recommend doing a deck like that, okay? Because you've got the best chance you have is combining cards that do combinations. So if you run into a situation like that, you can try to overpower your opponent. Basically, this deck is an overpowering deck. You want to, by the end of the game, have so much power that you just overpower your opponent's position. And keep in mind, too, this is a great starter. I mean, this is not to be played later. Once you get into Pool 2 and you start winning new cards, swap shit out. But for right now, this deck right here will carry you till you get better cards. When you get to the next pool, there's only 25 cards, right? And once you get to rank 4, or you get to collection level 474, you've collected all 25 cards that are in there. Now, there'll be more because they're adding cards, and certain cards go to Pool 1, Pool 2, these new cards that came in. But basically, once you reach 474, you should, in theory, have every card from 1 and 2. And I'll do probably a run through on 2 tomorrow because I don't have much time. I'm going into work soon. But this is one of the best decks to play once you reach that Covenant collection power of 214 and you have all 46 beginner cards. This is one of the best decks that I have. And as you can see, I can win with it, and I'm 3,000 collection level. I don't run the like 90% of these cards now. I still run Angela. I still run Iron Man in 90% of my decks, but I don't use Wolfsbane a lot. I don't use Jessica Jones a lot. I haven't used Namor in a very long time. Nightcrawler I use in certain decks. Ant-Man I use a little bit. Blue Marvel, I use, but those are more advanced decks. And American Chavez, I use a lot, but I'm really getting away from her. So this is a deck that could carry you even through Pool 2. I'm using it in an advanced game, and I'm still moving up. So, all right. I'll do one more game just to kind of show you, because this is fun. Like, I've been experimenting with this deck. I played till 5 in the morning to try to construct my own thought and really test this deck out and see what my win rates and things were going to be. So let's see. We have Nexus of Power. This is the new location. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. So power here was granted to other locations. So with this deck, your plan of attack is to flood the higher powered cards to this to give it to all of these other spots. But I'm going to do something crazy and skip right now because I want to see if I get Angela, or even if I get my armor out, because then I could just use Nightcrawler to jump out of that protected spot. I knew he was going to throw it. He thought I was going to play it right away. That's hilarious. Okay, didn't get Angela, but you know what? That's fine, because I'm going to show you guys why you use armor. Armor and Ant-Man are a very good combo to have together, because Ant-Man can be destroyed very easily. Now I can play Ant-Man on any turn with armor because he'll be protected by armor's ability. Plus, this stops destruction decks a lot. You see a lot of Venom and Carnage, and I'll get into that in the next pool because that's where you get Carnage and the destruction cards. This used to be used a lot to stop Carnage Nova, which is basically Carnage destroys Nova. Everything used to get +2 power, and it'd be ridiculous. Now they get +1. It is still used. It's a good counter. Hey, Justin, playing some Marvel Snap. Showing everybody a beginner deck to use and win. Go up the ranks to where I'm at. So I'm using armor right now, right? I'm going to play my Ant-Man right away because I can. He's protected. It's good. So I'm going to play Angela, play Nightcrawler, play Ant-Man. Angela is going to get +2 power from me playing Nightcrawler and Ant-Man, and I can jump Nightcrawler out and give her another +2 power. That's so. Oh, I took too long with that, but it doesn't matter. I set up my cards. So yeah, like Thanos Snap. There actually is. Look, so watch this, Justin. I can Thanos Snap. Okay, so you see what she did right there? I added 2 power from 2 different people, right? 2, 4, and she's 1. So 5. Now I'm going to jump him out into Olympia, and I'm just going to add Iron Man and double that power. So it's going to go from 14 to 28. Yeah, I really love this game. You can get this game on PC, iPad, or your cell phone. Just type in Marvel Snap. This deck you could use after you've unlocked all the cards. Unlocking the cards is free. I went through this tutorial yesterday, Justin. You can just watch the replay. I explained the gist of the whole entire game. It was a 5-hour stream. Iron Man, yeah, Iron Man is an auto win, Justin. As you can see, I doubled my power there. So now, guys, I'm not even really playing. Every spot has 28 or 30 power. At this point, my opponent is fucked. They could throw down a Devil Dinosaur, but I don't think it'll really do anything to me. So now I'm just going to fuck around. I'm going to put, not Namor. I'm going to put Blue Marvel and give everything +1. And put Yondu. because I can. So here we go. So everything that's down is going to get a +1, which is going to add to my power even more. Yondu just because I can. And they horribly lose. Like there's no way they can possibly win this game. This spot would have to be filled up with high-powered cards. And I know what they're running. They're running what's called a bounce deck. They use Beast to bounce all the cards back, play them back out. There's no hope for them to win this. So I'm just having fun at this point. I'm going to throw down a Wolfsbane just to show you what it does with 3 cards here. So she's going to get +2 for all of these, and bam. So she's +8. Is she +8? She's +8. She got +6 plus the bonus from Blue Marvel, which was an extra one. So yeah, this is how good this basic deck is. Keep in mind, this is not for my advanced decks. This is just a basic ass deck that is from every card from Pool 1. Like I said, there's 46 cards in the first pool, and they go from collection 18 to 214. And guys, in the beginning of this game, you collect cards so fast. In like, I'd say rough estimate, if you play even just conservatively, you will get all of Pool 1 cards probably within the first 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, maybe a month if you're really taking your time. It is not that long to collect all of these cards. And this deck I'm playing in an advanced level, and I'm beating the shit out of these people. So, and it's mainly because people who are advanced have not seen these cards being played in quite some time, so there's no counter for them. But Thanos in this game does have the Infinity Gauntlets, but he's not very good. I want to build a Thanos dex, but I don't have him unlocked. He's one of the few cards I don't have. I think I'm missing like 4 cards. Thanos is one of the 4 cards. So I wish I did have him, because what I want to build is an Infinity Stone deck. So I want to have Thanos and then build a deck around the Infinity Stones and call it like Endgame or something like that. That's I like to build a lot of theme decks. So yeah, so that's the basic deck. I've climbed. Last night I was jumping between platinum, or I was jumping between, this is platinum, right? I want to say it's platinum that I'm at right now. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. So I was jumping between silver, 34, 35 all night last night playing that deck. This one deck I was running, I was playing it consistently for like 10 games, and I won all of the games with this deck. You could literally rank up from, like, you guys are going to start at Agent, which is like the lowest level. Or no, Recruit. I'm sorry. You're going to start at Recruit, go to Agent, Iron, Bronze, and then Silver is kind of where you always get reset at the end of the month. So once you get to about here is where it gets harder. And then Gold, Platinum, Diamond are going to be where some of the really tough players are. It's where you got to have some of the best decks. Vibranium, Omega, Galactic are where the cream of the crop is. And then Infinite is a very small percentage in the game, but you will always fight very good players. There's no slouches there. Hey, Carmen, how are you? Playing some Marvel Snap here. So yeah, so this is just the Pool 1 advanced cards. So I might do Pool 2 tomorrow, but for right now, There's your beginner's guide for the first 46 cards and how to use them. I will do pool 2 tomorrow, but for right now, I'm just going to mess around, show off a new deck that I built. This is a funny deck that I got to work a good majority of the time. I call this my Guardians of the Galaxy deck. I got the idea from a content creator who's pretty cool. I like his stuff. He's Bnox, I believe. It's like BYNX. He likes to be inventive, and he kind of took the idea that I had like right from my head, almost like we were thinking of the same thing. The Guardians of the Galaxies are interesting cards. They're basically shit because Guardians of the Galaxy mechanic is fucking stupid, and I hate it because it's Guardians of the Galaxy and how their abilities work. So Guardians of the Galaxy cards, the main Guardians have this ability, and the ability says that on reveal, which means after you play it and reveal it, if your opponent played a card in that space, then they get their ability. The problem is your opponent has to play the card in the spaces for you to activate the Guardian's abilities. This is annoying to try to get because basically what you're trying to do is to either predict where your opponent is going to be or force your opponent at that spot to play specifically so you can trigger their abilities. So, how did Zod get around this? This is not 100%, but I'm pretty happy with the rate of wins that I got with this. I'm at silver, so I can fuck around a bit. So I'm going to show you guys. Some of these are in pool 1. This will be a deck you can build later because quite a few of these cards are from pool 2 and beyond. But if you get these cards early, here's a fun little thing that I threw together if you are a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy and you want to give it a go. So first and foremost, Rocket Raccoon. I think Rocket Raccoon is severely underrated in this game. Rocket Raccoon is a drop that has the ability to get 2 more power. But I really like Rocket Raccoon because, yeah, you have to guess where your opponent's going to get dropped. But 9 out of 10 times, if there's a really good spot and you play there first, 9 out of 10 times your opponent is going to play there. So if there's like a Myrrh Island or something that gives you +1 every turn, your opponent's going to want that. And if they have a 1 drop or even a 2 drop, they're going to play there. So I like Rocket Raccoon because I've hit the abilities more times than I've missed. That's just me, but he's pretty cool. Next, we have Daredevil. Daredevil is a card you will not have right away. Daredevil is also a card that when you run these decks, he is essential. Daredevil is, to me, such a great card to have in decks where you want to control where your opponent goes. So what is Daredevil's ability? And I'm super happy because I like Daredevil. So on turn 5, you get to see where your opponent plays before you make your move. What this means is typically on your turn, you're going to go first. But if you play Daredevil turn 4, turn 5, your opponent goes first. You see where they play and you see their card. I absolutely love this card. I like to play a lot of controlling decks. I like to force my opponent to move where I want them to move. This is such a great tool to controlling the board. A lot of people are mixed about Daredevil. I think he's absolutely ridiculous. He's not broken to where he's got this huge thing, but if you are a control player, I'd almost say he is a must in any deck. If you like knowing where your opponent's going to go, if you want to force people into moves, Daredevil is such a great way to force your opponent to make a mistake or force them to have to play somewhere or guess what you're going to do to counter them. It's just, I love it. It's such a great card. So yeah, Goose. Goose is from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also one of the best Guardians of the Galaxy that doesn't have a stupid ability. So Goose, ongoing ability. And for someone who's in high play, this is very important. Goose the cat, he also has a funny animation too. If anyone tries to play a 4 or 5 cross cards, his little mouth comes out and he's like, ah, ah, ah. Anyways, that's not the point. Goose the cat has an ability that is ongoing. Nobody can play 4, 5, or 6 card cost cards. This is super important because with the style of card I'm playing, that means I can play my 1, 2, 3 cost guardians that would normally not be that good. But when I play them with Goose, I get those bonuses, but the opponent can't play a higher card to match it. It also, once again, cuts off a space they can use. The whole point of this deck, and if you're trying to build a usable Guardians deck, is you want to limit your opponent's squares they can go to, and then make it so they have to play at a certain spot, and you can counter it with power. That is how the Guardians work. I'm not ignoring you. I said, hey, Carmen. So, Storm. Storm is a massively crazy, ridiculous card. Every deck should have Storm. I mean, okay, there's some decks that are not going to run it, but seriously, every deck should have Storm. Storm is such a good card. Storm, when you get Storm from, I believe, she might be a pull 3. When you get her, you put her in every deck. Every fucking deck. I don't care what you're running. You put Storm in that deck. So what she does is she floods the location, which means that anything you don't like, she's going to change it to flooding. And what that ability means is that once you play her, so say you play her on 3, your opponent only has 1 turn to put cards in that spot before it's closed forever. Why is this good with Guardians? Because Guardians go great with Storm's ability. You play Storm, you're forcing your opponent to have to worry about losing that spot. So what I like to do is I play Storm on 3, I play Drax on 4, and I'll show you Drax in just a second. But this is an excellent control type of deck. Okay, so hello there. So what you're doing is Storm is going to flood the board. Your opponent, 9 out of 10 times, especially in high play, 9 out of 10 times, they're going to want to control that spot, especially if you've already cut off a spot in the game. They are going to want to match you there. So you play Storm and you play Drax. Drax is a 4/4, and he gets +4 power, which means he becomes 4/8, which means your Storm becomes a 10 power spot. This is such an excellent, because by turn 4, there's not a lot of really high power cards they can throw down in response. 5 and 6 are where the big boys come out, or the ones that really boost power, or they're using cards that'll boost that lane for something else. The Drax Storm combo, I think, is extremely underrated. I really love it. And yeah, Iron Man. Always use Iron Man. I don't know if you've been listening to me. Iron Man. Every deck, Iron Man. Iron Man is going to be in every, just about damn near every deck, okay? Always have Iron Man in there. I don't care what you're, like, this doesn't go with my Guardians theme, but, you know, Guardians know him. Iron Man. Just use Iron Man in every single deck. That's the key. PD is going to love this PSA. But basically, Iron Man goes anywhere. Anywhere. You're like, oh, I don't know how to finish my deck. What card am I going to use? Iron Man. Okay? He doubles the power of that location. You can always use that ability. Oh, thank you. So, Iron Man. Use Iron Man. Now, Professor X Professor X is one of my favorite cards because I'm a control player. What Professor X does is he locks down a location. Cards can't be added, removed, destroyed, affected by any ability once he's played. This is such a great ability because now if you're paying attention, you use Storm, lock down a location, right? You use your Drax to win it. Boom. You get Professor X, and then you can play like your Daredevil there or something else. Okay. Or you can even do Daredevil on 4. Force your opponent to play before you. See where they drop their card. Professor X on 5. Lock the location they didn't go to. This is such a powerful way to really fuck up your opponent's day that it's so great. I've also done like, you could do like, there's stuff with wave and things like that, but because I'm not really running that, if you wanted to, you could save Professor X till turn like 6, play Professor X and Rocket Raccoon. That won't always work, but it's a fun little thing. Gamora is surprisingly good. Gamora is 7 power. She gets +5. She can be played on 5. If you don't get your Professor X, use Daredevil. See where your opponent plays on 5. Guaranteed to trigger your Gamora. So now she's going to be a 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5, 12. Boom. You control that spot right away. Now, being that you laid down a high-powered, on turn 6, they're going to try to take it back. So then you just play another Guardian. I just threw Groot in there because Guardians of the Galaxy. And last one, Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom, I love. He works really well in this deck. He won't do it to the Professor X location, but the Storm location, he will add Doombots. If you, like, say, play Storm in a location on turn 3, turn 4, play Daredevil at that location, right? That's 5 power. And he's thinking, oh my goodness, well, what if someone throws down something that counters it? They can conceivably take you at 5 power. Play Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom puts 5 power Doombots in all the locations. So now that Storm location gets 10. They can't add any more power. You automatically win that spot. Dr. Doom is crazy good in control decks because he can reach the places that your cards might not be able to. I fucking love Dr. Doom. MVP. I think he's not used very often, and it's kind of weird. And I think it's because his ability only lends itself to certain situations because he's a high number, but a low power. 6'5" is not that extraordinary. What really makes him stand out is these Doombots and why he's only played in certain decks. But for a Guardian deck, he could literally tip half the points I would have lost. Love Dr. Doom. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Justin, I don't know. I don't know when I will ever unlock Thanos. To be honest with you, I've seen him a couple of times in the game. I've never gotten him. I've seen Thanos, Galactus, a beautiful lady. Hello. Hello, my love. How are you? I know. I am sexy. Thank you. She didn't really say anything. She can't answer. She's gargling, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's run Guardians of the Galaxy. So Guardians of the Galaxy is a hard one for me to play. This is a high-end play that I'm doing right now. So I really got to think how I'm going to wrangle my opponent to do what I want them to do. So Cosmo, I forgot to talk about. He disables all on-reveal abilities, which means wherever I play him, I can't play my Guardians, my Doom, Goose, any of that. So Cosmo is I'm just using in case I run into a destruction deck or something like that. So, ooh, this is going to be interesting. So this will take my on-reveal cards and make their effect happen twice. I think I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to open with a Rocket Raccoon because it's a weird play, and they're going to think that I'm playing something huge. But that means instead of just getting 2, this card could get 4 power if they play at this location, which means he'll be a 1/6. So, and they don't. They're playing a fucking move deck. God, move decks are so bad now. I used to run them. They're just in a really horrendous spot. Okay, so well, they didn't fall into that all trap. You know what? I'm gonna make it so 4, 5, and 6 cost cards can't be played here, just to make them pessy. So that means I'm really cutting off the amount of power they can get. The great thing is I still have a Star-Lord running around here, so I can use him late. Oh, speak of the devil, there's Star-Lord. So I am going to play my Daredevil over here because I'm not really trying to win this spot. And why I'm doing a combo. So Daredevil on turn 5, you'll get to see what his ability is. And this is just to show you guys what he does. Hey, you're tabbed out multitasking. Okay, so look. Now, this is what he did. He made my opponent do his turn first. Now I get to see his card, Human Torch. That means he's probably going to put something right here. So now I'm going to do Professor X. He can't play anything but Human Torch. I destroyed a location and won it automatically. He can no longer go here. This is the power of the Professor X play. So now that location is locked off to him and me, but I'm winning it. Now, he can't use this. The only place he has to play is right here. This is what I use the Guardians for. So I'm going to play Drax. Or no, I can't play Drax here. So I'm going to play Star-Lord and Groot. Now, Groot is normally trash. He only gets 3 power for 3. And Star-Lord is okay. But he gets at least 3 for 2. I'm going to, now that I know he can only play here, this is going to become a 5 power. This is going to become a 6 power. And he can't play any 4 or 5 cost cards. This is what this deck is designed to do. And that is what I built this deck to do. I fucking love a Guardians deck. Now I don't, with high-end players, there's a lot of ways to counter it, but I really love this deck. I especially love Daredevil and Professor X. Whenever I get that combo, it's pretty much over. Goose is good because right there, they couldn't play anything higher than a 2 or a 3. And move decks don't have any good 3 or 3 cost cards without comboing them. So, yeah. This forced them to play cards they did not want to play, while I had cards that would clearly overpower them. So, this is a great example. This deck runs multiple combos in order to win against opponents. I first force my opponent to move where they don't want to. Next, I shut down their ability to play high cards. Last, I play low cards that get high power, while they 90% of the time have nothing to match it. And when I started building this deck, that's where I came up with this idea. I always like to have a 6 power, so I just fucking threw Dr. Doom in there. But honestly, you really don't even need Dr. Doom in this deck. You can throw in another 5 cost card like Blue Marvel or something like that and give everything +1 power. There's so many different things to do, but the main cards that I always need to have in there, and why most people can't run this till later, is you need Professor X and you need Daredevil. These two work so well together. They are the big 4/5 closers. Also, Goose really does help because he makes it so that they can't play their big hitters at this location. If I use Cosmo, they can't use cards with on reveal ability. If you play Cosmo and Goose together in the same space, that is completely locked down. So Guardians are good if you like control and if you can get the cards out you need to force the players to play where you want them to play. I've won a lot, but you can also lose a lot with this deck because it's very dependent. You get those pieces to force your opponent to move. If you don't, then half of your cards are useless and you won't be able to get enough power to win a game. The power of this deck that I find is forcing people to make moves they don't want to make. So like right here, I'm going to play Rocket because there's Monster Island and everybody throws a card on Monster Island. So I'm going to guess they're going to use a card over here. Oh, shit, they didn't. Which I don't lose anything because just adding 2 to 9 is fine. I'm going to close this to them. Ooh, Sanctum Sanctorum. Oh, this could get nasty. Okay, so this is a very interesting situation. We both can't play the middle here. I could literally now, this is like where this deck thrives. I can shut off every location. So I'm going to try to pull this off, but I have the tools to do it. I can use Storm to flood so nobody can move there. And I can use Professor X on turn 5 with the Daredevil on turn 4 to ensure nobody moves there. So I'm going to see if I could get this off. This is, if you get into a situation like this, this is the most annoying control-y thing to do. They played Storm for me. I hate that. Okay, so I'm shutting this down already. Actually, this isn't a bad play. What I'm going to do is put Cosmo over here. This will make it so if they play another on reveal to like get a discard for Morbius or something like that, it won't work. You know what? I'm going to go Drax because nothing they have will beat this spot. No, wait. That's right. I put Cosmo there. Shit. Okay. Oh, they're trying the Dracula combo. Okay, so I won this spot. Good. I don't have to worry about that. Now, I didn't get a chance to use Daredevil to lock down this lane, but I know they can't play anything else except for here. So I'm going to go about this differently. Now that this is locked off, they have nowhere to go because they're a discard deck. They can't use this here. They don't have a Nightcrawler. I'm going to focus on doubling my power with Iron Man. And then I'm going to use Gamora, hopefully next turn, or something that will automatically gain power when they drop a card. So I'm going to use my Iron Man right here. Because, like I said, everybody at home, Iron Man is a staple card. Every deck should be running him. If you're not, what the hell are you doing? So I got my Iron Man, right? Now, this is my least favorite Guardian, but in this very rare case, Groot is actually helpful. You get 3 extra power. That makes him a 3/6. They have to use a card here. So I'm going to throw down Groot. If I win with Groot, this will be fucking hilarious because nobody uses him in my high level play. They think he's trash. So this is really funny if I beat this person using a Groot. So they're taking a long time to think. They bet 8. Now, either they're going to retreat or they're thinking about retreating, or they're going to roll the dice and come at my cards and try to overpower me. The thing with this deck is they can't. And I think they're trying to think of whether or not they have a card that will overpower me. See, I messed up their move. Dracula can be a really devastating card, but I messed up the combo over here. So they have nothing to power him up. They have to have 1 card left in their hand for him to discard and gain that power. So I think they don't have one. And I win. So even though I lost this at the last minute to Morbius, they only beat me by 1 point here. I was winning this by 34-9. They had 18-10. That's 28 due to a tie. It takes the 2 highest scores. So that's 28 that they were winning. I was 34 plus 9. So I was well into the 40s. That's what's really fun about this deck. Running a Guardians deck, a lot of people don't expect you to. I like to fuck with my opponents. So there's not a lot of clues to even give a hint at what I'm running. So this is a fun deck if you just want to fuck around and you have some of these cards. I call it my GOG, Guardians of the Galaxy deck. So I don't know, get 1 more power. Do I want to get more? Nah. I'll just wait until I win more. So I did all of my missions. The weekly challenges don't unlock for 2 days. We did all of them yesterday for 5 hours. Let me see where I'm at. 2 o'clock. I've been streaming for an hour and a half. So I'll do 1 more game and I'll show you guys a little surprise. I've been working on this deck for like 3 days. I don't know if I got it perfected. I call it my Into the Spider-Verse deck. I think after, I don't know, 3 fucking days of working on this, I've come to realize it is super hard to make a Spider-Man themed deck. This is the closest I've got it, so I'm going to kind of give you an idea of how this works. And to be quite honest, this is like beta test number, 4. But I won a few games with this, so you guys get to see me test out a brand new deck idea. So this is also advanced, so you're not going to get these cards yet. You might early, but there's a high probability you will not. I have Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler, as you guys remember, is one of your beginner runs. Super important here. Nightcrawler is for mobility. And he also enables one of my favorite cards, Miles Morales. Miles Morales says, if a card moves this turn, this costs 1. It's 4/5 power, but you can reduce it to 1. So I can play Nightcrawler, turn 1, move him, turn 2, play Miles, turn 2. I've had a turn, like, he's just, I don't know. I really like that mechanic because he makes it so you've got, like, if you put him where Nightcrawler is, that's 7 power on the second turn. For high-level players, you can't ever underestimate how much of a lead that is in a game. I have Carnage. Carnage, of course. Spider-Man, you gotta put Carnage in here. What Carnage does is he's destruction. Destroy your other cards here, +2 power for each destroyed. So what you do is you play cards that you want to destroy, and Carnage basically eats them. You'll see him eat them on the board, and he gets +2 power. So if it's 3 cards, he becomes a 2/6. So you can drop him on turn 2 and have 6 power. Once again, this is about trying to get as much power by turn 2 or 3 as possible. And then 4 and 5, I'm going to get to my board control, because you know me, I like to control what an opponent does or how much power they have. So Scorpion, when you start pull 2 and you get him, he is again in every single deck I ever see running. Scorpion, when he's played and you reveal him, he afflicts everything in your opponent's hand with -1. This is such an annoying jab to take at an opponent, because essentially that means every card in your opponent's hand from the jump loses 1 power on turn 2. If they have a Chavez, an Odin, something like that, this card takes them from an 8, 10, 11, 12 power card to like 11, 10, 9, 7. Now, this doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're playing against advanced players where every point counts, this card is a nightmare to people, because they have in their mind, they're calculating how much power, right? And boom, you hit them with a fucking Scorpion in the beginning of the game, and they're readjusting now. Now, this isn't going to be like you drop it down and you end the game, they can't do anything, but this keeps your opponent honest and on their toes. Everybody curses when this comes out, because they're like, fuck, now I got to readjust. And it kind of forces them to stay honest, okay? Now, Green Goblin. I love Green Goblin. Green Goblin's very simple. He's -3 power. So you're saying to yourself, Zod, why would you use a card that has negative power? Well, on reveal, your opponent gains control of this card, which means he comes on the field and he flies over to the other side. This card is on turn 3. So imagine this, folks. Turn 1, Nightcrawler. Turn 2, Scorpion. They lost 1 power. Turn 3, Green Goblin. So they lost 1 power, and 1 part of their board has -3. This is such a fucking annoying combination, and I've made so many people quit with this combo. I love it. I laugh every time. Sorry, because people, they get -1, and then you put a -3 card at the end of their board, and they're like, motherfucker. So now they got to either destroy it, or they've got to figure out a way to play around it, or they just have to give up the space or find another way to give it more power. This is a very good disruption. And I figured out when trying to make this work, the really main goal of this deck is to disrupt the hell out of my opponent, to annoy the shit out of them, preferably to get them to quit or to make it seem like it's not worth facing me. Much like in YouTubing, I try to annoy the shit out of the opponent. You know, it's the villain thing to do. So, Venom. I love Venom. He's really weird in this deck, but I'm putting him in because it's a Spider-Verse themed deck. You can't have Spider-Man without Venom. So what Venom does is he destroys all the cards and gains their power. Starts with 1 power. That means +1 and everything else you kill. This is such a great way to not only clear your board if someone gives you crap, but also too to make room to also play new cards. So you can fill up one side, throw a Venom down, clear it out, continue filling it up. I love Venom. He's really fun. Spider-Man. I'm sorry, Polaris. Polaris is just here. She's not really a big Spider-Man character, but she's here to once again disrupt my opponent. This will move a 1 or 2 cost card to where I play this. So once again, if I don't get Nightcrawler on turn 1 to make Miles come out, I can play Polaris turn 3 and make Miles 1 cost. I don't have to play him on turn 4. I can play him on turn 6 if I want to. He's a 1 cost card after anything on the board moves. So it's a really great way just to reduce Miles to get that 5 power anywhere I want to for free. A lot of this deck is built on getting Miles out and being as annoying to my opponent as possible. This is just really an annoying deck. I really am out to piss off the person I'm playing and to irritate the shit out of them. Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like a mini Storm or Professor X, and you saw what I did in those games. When you play him, your opponent can't play cards at the location the next turn. You play him on 4. That means on turn 5, if he wanted to play a card there, a specific card, and you know what your opponent is playing, you throw Spider-Man down, he now has to find a different spot. This is really annoying for those decks that are trying to throw a bunch of cards out on turn 5 or 6. I play him on turn 5. And why I play him on turn 5 is turn 6 is the big boom. Everybody drops their big cards or they unload their whole hand, right? And you can always kind of see the spot where they're going to drop by this point in the game. So this determines if you're going to play Spider-Man on 4 or if you're going to play him on 5. If you play him on 5, you can play a Spider-Man for 3 and a Miles Morales for 5. And this is now, if your opponent was going to win that, they're really either going to double down or abandon that spot. Once again, everything in this deck is designed to annoy and force your opponent to rethink their strategy constantly. I don't want them to have an easy game plan. I want them to work for everything they put down. That's the whole point of this deck. Hobgoblin. Once again, annoying card. Hobgoblin in this deck goes with Green Goblin, but Hobgoblin gives your opponent -8. There is a couple combos I like to do with this. I will play Hobgoblin and Green Goblin together. So they will have -9, 10, 11, -11 in one spot. I've had it work where I've played my Hobgoblin, waited till turn 5, played my Green Goblin, waited till turn 5, played my Hobgoblin. This is a great card. It works better with Daredevil, but I'm not running Daredevil. But if you have like the Daredevil control deck, Hobgoblin is in there because you use Daredevil on turn 5 and you can either Professor X or Hobgoblin a really powerful location and win that location or fill that spot so they can't put anything else down. The whole point of this deck is to put as much shit on the other opponent's side, force them not to be able to play a turn, and I don't have to win with a lot of power, but I make it so my opponent can't play shit on any square. Spider-Woman. I heard somebody say on a stream that Spider-Woman was not useful. I wanted to prove them wrong. She got buffed. So, Spider-Woman is really cool. 7 power. You can play her with Miles Morales basically on turn 6, right? Because she's 5. Morales will be dropped to 1. You can have a 7 and a 5 power card drop at the exact time. Plus, added bonus, she gives -1 to everybody on the other side. If you're about to win a side, but you're short a few points, like, say 5 points, right? And you want Miles to win that spot, drop Spider-Woman reduce the power of everything on that side, and then drop Miles. You instantly claim that spot. I have pulled this combo off. It does work. It's a little hard, but it proves the theory that Spider-Woman can be put in a deck and work. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been playing this game since beta. I never have been into theory crafting, but the games are short and there's so much strategy and it really gets my brain working. One of my favorite games to play is chess. And surprisingly, this game reminds me a lot of chess. And in chess, a lot of what I like to do was controlling the board, right? Making my opponent think I was doing one thing and forcing them to move somewhere else. So I build a lot of my decks into controlling without my opponent knowing that I'm doing it, controlling everywhere they move. They don't move a spot I don't want them to move. And if they do, I make it damn hard so that they can claim it. I also use the bonuses to my advantage, right? So if I know there's a spot that's automatically locked down, I will make the last two spots hell for my opponent to move in. And that's why I love these controlling kind of decks. And the way the game is now for launch, at my level, a lot of people are playing these big power cards. But the problem is they need that a combo. All my decks are about interrupting their combinations and trying to knock off as many of their combos as they can until they have no options. And either they retreat or they have to do something they don't want to do. That's the whole game plan, and that's what I built the Spider-Verse deck around, is just being as annoying as possible, making it as difficult as possible for my opponent to play anything. The only thing that works really good against my deck is somebody else who's running a control deck. If they're running like Storm, Professor X, Sandman, they could really screw up my game plan because my deck depends on controlling the board too. So the only problems I have in high play is if I come against somebody who can get their pieces of control before I can. But other than that, people running these like gigantic decks or Magic and Sarah and these decks that let you get out these huge cards or a bunch of huge cards at a time. This is a great counter to those decks. The other problem I have is Leader because he copies your cards. So if I throw down a Hobgoblin and they throw down a Leader, I'll send my Hobgoblin over, but they'll send one right back at me. So there is a couple of counters to this deck. But 9 out of 10 times, people are running these decks that you see a lot, and they need their pieces to fall in a certain way. And it's very specific, especially when you get into people who are in Diamond and Platinum and Infinity. They're running things that need, it's a well-oiled machine. They're very good at getting their combos, but if they don't get the pieces they need, or if you interrupt them at all before they can get it, they have no moves. And that's what this deck is based off of, giving my opponent no options. Dr. Octopus. Love Doc Ock. Dr. Octopus is the biggest piece of annoying the shit out of my opponent. What he does is he pulls 4 cards from their hand that they already have, and people hold their cards. So they'll have 4 cards by turn 5. He pulls them and plays them for the opponent. This destroys so many strategies, but you have to be really careful because Doc Ock has lost me a game or two. What you do is you play Hobgoblin, right? Fill a space. Play Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, fill 2 spaces, and then like maybe a Polaris, right? Force them to be full in a location. Then you drop Doc Ock. Take 1 or 2 cards away from their hand. They no longer have them. They're played where you want them to be played, and he's 10 power. Now, on turn 6, you can then play Venom. Venom will absorb him and anybody else on that location and gain that power. So they can't move anything anymore to try to counter it. and you get an overwhelming amount of power on that spot. This is kind of the combo you want to use. Once again, he works better with Daredevil, but I like just having the option of being able to throw him out on like a turn 5 or 6 and screw up someone's plan. Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom, I consider a Spider-Man character or his villain. Dr. Doom, once again, he just adds extra power, right? I get Doom bots in different locations. He's just there to overpower my board. The whole point is to get not a lot of power, but just enough to win. So I'm going to take this on ladder. This is my 3rd iteration. When I was playing it last night, it was working pretty well, but it really depends on what my character runs. So this deck doesn't play on the first turn. That's not really what I'm going for. I am trying to play this deck, allowing time to see what my spots are. But for this case, I'm going to play Nightcrawler so you can see me bring out Spider-Man or have him at 1 cost. So this is the Miles Morales strategy. So what I'm doing is I'm making Miles Morales 1 power. This opens up my options because now I can do the Miles Morales Spider-Woman combo. I can do Miles Morales Dr. Doom, or I could do Miles Morales Spider-Woman Dr. Doom. I could do Miles Morales Spider-Woman Venom. There's so many combos now, and they have no clue. That's why I snapped, because I'm fairly confident I can take this. Now, here, this location would be a problem for me because 1, 2, and 3 cost cards can't be played here. But now I have Nightcrawler. He can move. Even though he's a 1 cost card, I'm going to move him over right here. Now, my opponent has to wait till they get a 4 or 5 cost card they can play in this location, but they're not going to focus on this anymore. They're going to go here or here. So like I said, now I'm trying to control this or this. They're playing a move deck. Whenever you see multiple man, they're trying to move their cards around. Move decks are terrible. Don't play them, okay? So what their plan is, they're going to try to move everything in the center. This is great. Gamma Lab. Gamma Lab turns everything to Hulk. Hulk is a 12+ card. They're going to try to overload this spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play... Let me see. I could play Miles here and turn him into a 12. I could do Carnage or Venom. I don't think I'm going to use Venom for anything. So I'm going to put 2 cards here to make 24 power. So now we're tied at this spot. Now, this is where Green Goblin comes into effect. Green Goblin is going to now take up a spot here and reduce this power. So once again, this is that annoying factor, and now he played Vulture. So now he's going to move Vulture out of here, or even if he plays Doctor Strange, he'll probably just move these 12 costs, and Vulture will stay here. Either way, I win this spot. So I'm not concerned with that anymore. So now, I'm on turn 5. I got a couple of different options here. What I really want is to get rid of the power on this side because they're trying to move everything to the left. So I'm going to play my Scorpion and my Venom because he's going to eat this 9 power and he's going to eat Scorpion, but Scorpion's going to give them -1 into everything in their hand. Once again, the whole point of this deck is to be annoying. So I'm going to do that. Because there's nothing they can do on this side. We're tied until I decide to do something here. This is perfect. This is like they have no really good options here. So I'm 1 point away from winning this. I don't want to play Hobgoblin here because the problem is they're going to play a card here. I have a feeling, or they're going to try to move something here. I mean, maybe if I play a Hobgoblin, they try to go here and move. They're going to use Heimdall. It's going to move everything over. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to use Hobgoblin and hope they don't get the space. Otherwise, I'll have -8. No, you know what? I'm going to use Spider-Woman because I think I can win by reducing the power here. Heimdall, watch. I knew it. They're going to move everything over. I win. This is why move decks are bad. You see what happened there? I knew right away when they played multiple man that I had to win. The only good thing about a move deck is moving everything to the left. You need to win this spot and you need to win over here because by the rules of their deck, they're trying to win here and here. It's a very hard deck to play in this high level. So I knew all I had to do is reduce the cost of this and this. I could have even played my Hobgoblin and reduced them even further. But that's the power of control. They had no chance of winning that game. And that's not me bragging. That's like once the way the mechanics of their deck works, they need the left side to be cleared, which means that if you go up against a move deck, your priority in that game, as soon as you see like a multiple man, vulture, human torch, any of the cards that move around, you need to lock down the left and the far right because they're trying to move everything from the far end all the way to the left and end on the left and the middle so that they can win those two spots. That's the whole goal of a move deck. I used to play it. Now it can still work in this meta, but half of the cards they were using, people don't even use anymore because there's no way to move them around. So that was a very standard move deck, and they just don't win, especially in a deck that I'm using where I'm controlling everywhere a person goes. So all I had to do once I figured out what the plan was just shut those two areas down. So that was a great tutorial moment because that showed how you can manipulate people or just stop a strategy. I just put a brick wall on their strategy. I knew Heimdall was going to be played in the middle. That's the only high-level card they could play in the middle. I could have even had a Spider-Man in my hand, used Spider-Man on turn 5. Now they have to play to the far right or the far left, and Heimdall doesn't work there. He can, but it's not enough power to win is what I'm trying to say. That's why I love this Spider-Man deck so much, is because against a lot of decks, I can rest. Like, say I was going against a Long Going, which is a popular deck right now, right? I can fill that spot with disruption cards. And they have nothing. Everything is combo based, right? You just got to interrupt the pieces of what they're trying to do. And bam, you win. It's a very simple deck, but it's very dependent on you knowing what your opponent is going to play. Once you can figure it out, if you've played a lot of the decks, you can figure it out by 3 or 4. And then by then, I've got tons of 5s and 6s that all do things that will disrupt something in a very big way. So the deck is about playing big, impactful cards right away, bam, and dropping them. Not like that Miles, right? I could not have won that Gamma Ray spot if I didn't have Miles on 1 mana. But because I used Nightcrawler to move to a spot I wouldn't be able to move, Miles dropped to 1. So now I had 2 cards open to drop into that spot to give me 24 to match my opponent. And being I knew they were using a move deck, they can only drop 2 cards on that turn. So we're tied. Once again, it opens up the options. So where your locations are and how you manipulate that will also depend on how you win with this deck. I do have specific win conditions, but I can move people into those conditions a lot easier than most people who use high level decks can do. Like I have Magic, I have Sarah, I can build the same kind of deck, but I like doing something different. I don't like to be like everybody else. So that's pretty much the breakdown of this. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna get going because I got to go into work, but thanks for watching. I really had a fun time doing this. I had a lot of fun doing these tutorial instructions. If you're new and you happen to come across this, hit that like button. I'm going to do more. I'd like to do a 24-hour rank climb to see if I can get to infinite, and you guys can kind of join me. So maybe stream straight 24 hours to try to make it to an infinite rank. I'll see. It depends on my work schedule because I don't want to do it on a day where I have to work, but like maybe I'll go on a Thursday night into like Friday night to try to make it all the way to the top, or like a Saturday evening into Sunday. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to check us out every Friday night for late night talks. Check out Husky. He streams games on this channel, Pop Culture PB. He does stuff. I believe tonight they're doing the Sunday Night Madness or something. So keep a lookout for that. It'll be PB and probably Cybernetic Husky. Or Saturday night something. I have to work, so I won't be able to stream much. And I'm going to be really tired, but I might stream later on tonight a bit of a Marvel Snap gameplay. But it will be super late. Now, maybe go into the morning. So, you guys can follow me and watch me climb up the ranks. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Click that like button. And remember, this is not the fandom zone. So I'm not going to say kneel before Saad. But remember, keep on snapping and have fun. Download this game. It's absolutely free. And you can jump in and start having fun. You can build some of these decks and let me know how they work for you. Or, you can load it up on your tablet or your phone and you can play along with me. I'm trying to create a fun little community here. So while I'm playing, you guys can play and let me know what you're using that might work that I didn't think about. It's a very creative game. So thanks everybody for watching and have a wonderful day. I will see you at Marvel Snap.